Do you feel like you are doing what you were born to do? Do you feel the call to what you're doing right now? Do you feel the hunger? Do you wake up excited to do what you're called to do? Does that excitement transcend everything else in your life because you become obsessed and consumed with what it is that you're doing? I feel like I finally, at 44 years old, have stepped into the thing that I was born to do. I coach growth stage CEOs in how to scale their business, how to build their teams, and then how to keep themselves dialed in across body, being, balance, and business, every part of their life. And I love it. I've been in 3 conversations this morning. 3. And every single one of those conversations was full of soul, full of inspiration, and thinking not just about the impact of our lives, but how we will have an impact across generations. When you're a leader, when you're an influencer, you can show up in such a way where you can actually create moments of impact that change the trajectory of someone's life forever. For their kids, for how they lead in the house, for how they lead in marriage, for how they lead themselves, how they show up in the world. And it's not just a small game. And in one of these powerful conversations, I was talking to somebody who's been wrestling and coming through addiction and depression and struggling with career, struggling with relationship, wondering if there's a person for them. And to be able to come alongside them and be like, well, how about we figure out what you want? How about we really drill in on this? Is what you're doing right now something that makes you feel like you're coming alive? And this person had a dream, a vision of themselves in front of a room and leading people through transformation. But they're not living that out right now. I said, if I can be a part of you becoming that, that's the kind of work I want to do. Later, I was talking to an attorney who's struggling with the idea of becoming a coach. And we had a powerful, long conversation about the transformation that I've walked through and what it means to be a transformational trainer and what it means to be a coach from the front lines, not from the sidelines. I said, here's the difference that made all the difference for me. It's when I surrendered. When I surrendered, I got out of my own way. When I surrendered to the little stories that I was telling that were getting in the way, not surrendered to those, but when I surrendered those to God and said, okay, God, what if this wasn't about me? What if this was about the lives that I can touch? What if this wasn't about me selling myself to others, but me selling them on themselves? Them seeing the potential that's inside them seeing what's possible for them. I have lived this transformation over the last 8 months where my life has accelerated. And it was already a great life, but it accelerated to the next level across every dimension. Across my body, across my spiritual life, my relationship with marriage, my relationship with my boys as a dad, and what I'm doing in the business world. Completely changed. Me coming to you live right now, I did not do this a year ago. Would not have thought I would become someone comfortable doing this and inviting people into a conversation with me. And yet, in each of these 3 conversations I had today, I felt God's presence flowing through me. That I am living out the purpose for which I was born. And part of me would say, hey, you know what? Why did I spend so many years to get to this place? How come I didn't get here sooner? But the weird thing is, I cannot live with regret because the joy that's flowing in me right now, the excitement that I have, doesn't allow for that. I look at everything I've gone through in life has been an experience that makes me unique and gives me the ability to connect with people in a new and different way. That had I not had those experiences, I would not be able to connect. And so I can't look at those with regret. I have to look at those and say, those are what formed me into who I am today. That give me the ability to step into conversations and to have powerful collisions with CEOs. Helping them reframe their story, change how they think about themselves, change how they think about members of their team, collide with the stories in their own life. Because here's the thing, we all get caught up in these mental loops and traps and get stuck. And those are the things that can hold us back from living out what God has called us to do. And so there's nothing that excites me more than unleashing the potential inside of somebody by helping them develop the tools, skills, and abilities to get out of their own way, to look at the facts of where they are, their feelings around that, and to start to change their focus and rewrite the stories that are holding them back. We are meaning generating humans. We create meaning from everything. You see a bird flying by. There's meaning in that. There's a flower growing. There's meaning in that. And the way things line up from a timing perspective. There could be deep meaning in that. Coincidences? I have seen so many God winks over the last few weeks. Not coincidence at all. But here's the thing. Are you living right now in what God called you to live? Are you leading the life where you feel it's fulfilling every single day? Where you're looking forward to what you're doing? Where you're filled with purpose and meaning and joy that's just flowing out of you? The work that I do now, I have this visceral feeling of aliveness that's pouring out of me. Sometimes to the point of overwhelm where the emotion leads to tears. When I'm talking in conversations, it's happening multiple times a day now, where I'll get to this point in conversation where it's either I'm crying or that other powerful leader is crying. And we're not talking like bawling. We're just like choked up with emotion and overwhelm for all the goodness that's happening in our lives and the connection that can take place in these moments. I spoke with a man today who lost 4 family members to dementia and lost his twin brother to suicide. Knocked him off course. How could it not? And now he's like finding his footing again. Good guy, solid guy. Hit hard by life. That's a kick in the nuts. And now it's like, okay, where do I go from here? Where am I going? What am I supposed to do? What am I uniquely qualified to do? And what makes a difference, not just to feed my family, but for generations to come? Because that's the kind of scale that you can operate at if you shift your vision and shift your perspective. Now here's the strange thing. I was the guy who was like, hey, I will live a good private life. I'll make sure my kids are taken care of, which doesn't mean I'm going to give them everything. It means I'm going to give them, as Dennis Waitley once said, roots and wings. Give them a foundation, launch them. Now go find your way. And I thought, you know what? If I do that, I will have fulfilled my call. That's what I'm supposed to do. Live my good life, do things the right way, and call it a day. And then, peace out, world. Have fun. And then God challenged me, and he's like, son, your life is not your own. It's not what I called you to do. And I was like, but God, there's other people who are more qualified to go out there, to speak, to have an influence, to make an impact. Look how gifted they are. They're born for this. They have the skill. They have the ability. And God's like, yeah, but they didn't go. So tag, you're it. It's your time. Step up to the plate, son. It's time to go. And at first, I did not want to. I liked my private life. But guess what? When I chose to surrender, when I chose to go all in, I don't like my life anymore. I love it. I did not realize that was going to happen. I thought this would be tragedy. I thought people were going to be like, what are you doing? You're exposing yourself online. You're talking about all these things. Like, you're talking about God. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I am. Why? Because to omit God from the story of my life would be to tell a lie. Because I feel what he's done in me, through me, and how he's transformed me. I can't help but tell people about what he's done in me. And I'm seeing him orchestrate my life now as I listen and obey and take action, where I'm able to come alongside people in their darkest hour, where I'm being called to wake men up, to go live the life that they were born to live, to help them dust off after they get knocked over by life, pick them up, put them back in the race. The world right now is crying out for men to rise up and step into their God-given calling. to lead the lives that they were meant to live, to become the husbands, the dads, the brothers, the friends that they were called to be from the time that they were born. And now it's the time. It's time to go. And I'm not doing this alone. We're raising up an army of men equipped and trained to go liberate other men to live the life that they were meant to live. I'm doing this as part of Warrior Trainer, but I've got these other men coming into my life, and I want to raise them up too. I want them to go out. This isn't a solopreneur venture. This is about building a movement that changes lives. It's so much bigger than me. And every time I run into my limiting thinking, I'd be like, oh, build a nice 7-figure coaching business, be nice and comfortable, have a nice house, nice cars, nice family. And God's like, son, stop getting in the way of what I'm trying to do through you. Just surrender. Just submit. Take a knee to me. Allow God to flow through you. It's like, allow me to flow through you. And don't limit me. And just see what I can do. And there's been times where he's told me that. And I get scared because I can see what he wants to do. And it's so much bigger than me that I'm terrified. I was like, God, I can't do that. And he's like, I know you can't. That's why I'm going to do it. And that's what I want my life to look like. I don't want it to look like me. I don't want my business to look like me. I don't want my marriage to look like me. I don't want how I'm as a dad to look like me. I want it to look like him. So God, take over. It's yours. Now show me what to do each day. And give me the strength and the courage to go do it. And if you're a growth stage CEO and listening to this, and you're like, yeah, I need you in my life, because whatever that is, I want some of that. Hit me up. Shoot me a DM. Let's talk. I am not your typical coach. I'm a man on fire right now. I'm a man on fire for God, and I'm blazing a trail, and I'm rallying others to be like, let's go. If you catch just 10% of what God's been doing in my life, it will permanently, forever alter the course and direction of your life. So just get around me. It's contagious. And we're going to go blaze a movement. We're going to light up this world. And it's going to be the biggest, greatest adventure of our lives. So if you're interested, come run with me.